We're back with our Meet the Team, and this is the head guy at Channel 10, news director Corey Presley. Great to be here with you. Let's talk about how long you've been at the station.
Sure. I've been here for 5 years, March 2021. This is my pseudo hometown station. I grew up in a small town in Middle Tennessee called Carthage. We spent a ton of time in Knoxville growing up because there wasn't a lot to do in Carthage. So you had to pick between Nashville and Knoxville, and so we bounced back and forth. And it's been a ride. We've seen a lot of really good, a lot of really tough, but it's been. They say the days are long and the years are short, and that's how I feel about my time here.
Let's talk about your journalism journey and what you've been seeing throughout your years before getting to Channel 10.
Yeah. So my journalism journey started like most young journalists. It started in it was a yearbook class, and in that you learned how to write, and they did the morning announcements and all of those fun things. So that's where it started. When I got ready to graduate high school, the recession hit, and my dad told me, "Hey, you need to go out and you need to either get money for school or you need to, help around the house and do things." And I was like, "Well, I'll go see what's out there." And in Carthage, there was really only two places. There was the McDonald's and there was the local radio station. And I loved radio so much. I was the guy that went to sleep every night listening to the radio. And I went for like 2 or 3 straight days and knocked on the door of the radio station. Dennis Banka, the owner of 104.1 The Ranch, met me and said, "Look, here's what I can do for you. I can give you a small scholarship, a little bit of money from the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and you can work here." And I was like, sold. Like, you're telling me I can work on radio? Yeah, absolutely. And I fell in love with all forms of broadcast. Went to school at ETSU, met my beautiful wife there. Ended up next in Bristol, Virginia at WCYB, then to Charlotte on a whim, then to Columbia, South Carolina, back to Charlotte, and then here in Knoxville. So I just get like a big circle, like one big circle.
And we know why East Tennessee. You explain that. It's home. But what about home do you love most?
You know, there's always 2 stories that come to mind. And the answer to that is the people. But there are always 2 stories that come to mind whenever I say that. One is my daughter was 4, and her preschool had a daddy-daughter dance. It was right around Valentine's Day. And I was so excited to take her. It was our first daddy-daughter dance. And we dance. I'm dressed to the nines. She looks, she's got her little beautiful dress on. And I said, "Hey, Maisie, we can do whatever you want. Where do you want to go next?" And she said, "Well, I want pizza." I was like, "You got it." So we hit up Pizza House on Clinton Highway. And we walk in, JB, and 4 or 5 different people come up to us. And they don't acknowledge me, which is fine. But they go to her and they say, "You look absolutely stunning. You look beautiful. You're gorgeous. Are you having a great time with your dad?" That kind of thing. And it made her night. Like, she felt very special. And like, that's just a thing that sticks out. And then a couple of years ago, it was Memorial Day weekend. Callie and Carter and Maisie, my daughter and son, we went out to eat, and there was a lone veteran at this Mexican restaurant, and he had his hat on, and he was eating by himself. And so it was touching, and, Callie said, "We need to pay for his food." I said, "Yeah, no, absolutely." So we call the waitress over, and we say, "Hey, just whatever he gets, like, we got it." And the waitress starts laughing at us, and we're like, "What do you?" And she's like, "You're the 7th person to ask to pay for it. He's covered for now and his next 6 months." It's like, "Oh, okay, great." That's so uniquely East Tennessee. The people here, time and time again, rise to any occasion, and that's such a fun place to live in because it makes you a better person.
Let's talk about what you tell people who have never been here, aside from that connection that people have in this community. What is it that they should know about East Tennessee and Knoxville?
Yeah, I think East Tennessee they have a little bit of everything. They have a little bit of everything, and you can get so uniquely connected to this area so easily. Like, the amount of times people have told me, "Well, I'm trying to recruit them to come work here. Yeah, I just want to come to Knoxville for a couple years, and I want to go on to what my next thing is." And how many of them have stayed in Knoxville because they fall in love with it, because they realize that, one, it's beautiful. It's a great place. It's such a pretty place to live. There's so much to do, whether you like to be outside, whether you're a foodie, whether you wouldn't run the game. If you like sports, there's so much that you can do. It's so like epicenter to everything around. 3 hours to Nashville, 4 hours to Charlotte, 3 hours to Atlanta. So you can go and do a lot of things. And I think that's really attractive to folks, that you can live in a place that's got that small town feel, but all those big city benefits.
Well said. I always tell people access is the word I would describe.
Yeah.
It is a jumping off point for just about anything you can imagine. You can do it. Is there one story that really stands out in your career among all the many that you have covered?
I think, and Maddie's punching this, but when we first put this question together, I kind of thought like, well, what news story, right? I'll give you one of those because I don't want to be a cop-out, but I think my favorite story I ever told actually had to do with a reporter in Columbia, South Carolina. Her name was Jenna. And Jenna was so green when she came into news. And she'll tell you she had no idea what she was doing. Jenna, when I was overnight producer or overnight EP in Columbia, I spent an hour driving into work. Jenna would call me when I got in my truck. We would talk through her script all morning. And then eventually she was so good, so talented. She went on to work in a large market in Ohio, I believe is what it was. And she turned a story about an organ donation. This guy who needed an organ donation. And lo and behold, he got it. And his family was so thrilled. And I just thought about that. I had nothing to do with that story. But I helped her find a love for news and a way to get better. And because of that, and several other things, this guy got something that he desperately needed to continue to live. And so that's one that's adjacent. I had another young man in Charlotte. His name was Super Jude, who had this rare form of dwarfism. He wasn't supposed to live to be one. He did. I was the weekend producer at that time. I thought that was cool that he got to live, that he lived to be one. They had a big birthday party. We sent a photographer out to go shoot it. And I ended up writing a Nats package, which for those who are listening to this, it's just natural sounds, some sound bites, and it tells a full story about this child. And after that story went viral. And the little boy who was surprised to live to be one lived many years after that because he got access to some experimental treatments and things like that help elongate his life. I think he lived to be 14. He died a few months ago. And, man, his mom and dad are so thankful to get that extra time. And that's just the power of journalism. That's the power of what we do when we're connected to our community. And that's why we stay in this crazy business, because you can look back and say, man, I had an impact, You
used a word there, a connector.
Yeah.
That's what I see a lot of our job and role being in a community like this one. You can make life-saving differences in people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, think about in your career, all of our careers, we've all been a part of affecting laws being changed. Or we've all been a part of seeing a community rally around a family who needs it the most. Does that stuff still happen if we're not here? Yeah, maybe, sure, but to the level that it does, I don't know, John. I don't know if it does, and that's why what we do is just so important, because we have the ability to connect and impact lives, not just here in East Tennessee, but wherever our proteges and mentors and mentees go after that.
If you weren't in our craft of journalism, what would you be doing?
Oh man, I don't know. I've thought about that question a lot just over the years, because it's hard. I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. I've got a wife who's so patient with me when I've got to stay late or go in on weekends. And so I don't know. I think at this point in my life today, as we talk about this, I think it would be some form of seminary. I'm at that point of my life where I realize how important faith is and how important it is with all the things that are going on in life to have something that you're grounded in. And so I think it would be adjacent to that. I've also really enjoyed helping people through tough times. You know, we've seen a lot of tough times here at Channel 10 over the last 6 months especially, and you know, there's something about helping someone get through that just is, you know, there's something, it puts something in your heart, and so I think that's probably what I would do.
You touched on it in the two stories that you shared, but what is your inspiration for being a better journalist?
Yeah, so this is going to sound like absolute, like I'm, you know, this is a plant. It's not, but it's folks like you. It's folks in the newsroom that we work with every day. You know, these folks, it's such an amazing room. There's folks who've moved here from California. There's folks who have moved here from Colorado. You know, New York has come through, Florida. And they all just want to tell stories, and they all want to make this community better. And if I'm ever having a bad day, I look out in the room and I'm like, no, man, like everyone's smiling and laughing. What do I have to stress about? I got it. Again, I got an incredible wife at home. I got 2 healthy kids. I got a room that tolerates me on a day-to-day basis, which I am thankful for, because I can be a lot. I don't have problems. We report on problems all the time. I don't have problems. And because of that, I'm going to come to work every day and try to give 110%.
Is there a place that you take people who come to East Tennessee every time? This is a consistent go-to spot. You
know, I don't know about every time. It's you know, we've got the we're at the age where we've got young parents that come in and visit. We got my mom and sister, my father-in-law. So it really is dependent on who's coming in. But we always go to a park of some sort, because that is, I dare say, one of the biggest perks of living in East Tennessee, because you have all this open air and all these beautiful places to see, whether you want to go kayaking, you want the kids to go run crazy at a playground. Like, we're going to be outside. I'm sorry if you decide to visit in July. You're going to feel some humidity. You're going to feel some humidity. That's your fault for booking at that point. But yeah, it's probably somewhere outside. You know, we're a big fan of Aspire Park, because it's close to where we are up in Powell. But yeah, pretty much Lakeshore, you know, all of those typical places.
Wild card question, because I think we're going to have a lot of young journalists who watch this, because they're going to think about, how can I know a little bit more about Corey getting into this profession? But what do you tell young journalists about a couple of the key things they need to be successful in our craft?
Yeah. Well, you know, I ask the same 4 or 5 questions in every interview. And it basically boils down to, I think if you're going to be successful in this career, I think you need 3 things. And none of them, in my opinion, are hard skills. They're soft skills. One, you got to be able to take criticism, because you're not a finished product. You're not a finished product. I'm not a finished product. If you're going to the right newsroom, you're going to get constant feedback on what you're doing, how you're doing, and how you can be better, if you're going to a good newsroom. Second, and this is one that people don't talk about enough, you need to figure out a way early on in your career to have a work-life balance. Because if you don't, this career will take everything that you're willing to give it, and without apologies. I mean, if you're willing to work 18 hours a day and on weekends, there will be enough for you to do. Unfortunately, that's caused a lot of young and just journalists in general to burn out, because they can't figure out a way to have a life outside of news. So I'd say that's 2. And then 3, a good attitude and some passion go a long way nowadays. And as you're going through school, or you're trying to figure out where you want to go next, really gut check yourself on that. Ask yourself why you want to get into journalism. And, you know, I don't mean for this to sound harsh, but I have been accused of being blunt from time to time. If your main objective to getting into news is to be on TV, you're not in it for the right reasons. And that's okay. Take the rest of the time you have in school and figure out what you do want to do. But we need to get away from folks who just want to be on TV to folks who want to help, want to make a community better, and they're passionate about asking the hard questions along the way to do those things.
Corey Presley, thanks for the time.
Thanks, JB. Appreciate you.